We're also live on your Joy Prime television and also live on our social media handles Facebook, I guess Instagram, all at Joy997. You can catch us there. My name is Adam Knight T, and always a pleasure to be serving you family lessons on home affairs every Saturday morning. I look forward to Saturday mornings because I personally get to learn a lot while we share so much with you. So, wherever you may be joining us from, maybe you are on your way traveling out of the country, or I mean, maybe you are on your way traveling. Of course, if you are traveling out of the country, I am wondering where, how you would be listening to us. But of course, unless you're driving out of the country to say maybe Togo or, Burkina Faso, or if you're traveling, wherever you may be going to, if you're going to the gym, you're running around, you're doing your house chores, wherever you may be joining us from, we say good morning and thank you for joining us. Hopefully, by the time the show is over, you have been able to pick up one or two things. Again, this morning I'd like to encourage people who are going through challenges. For instance, if you are going to see a loved one in the hospital, or you yourself, you're not feeling too good, or for any reason you are attending a funeral, going to see a loved one of your bereaved, I'd like to let you know that God is with you. It's a stage in life. Sometimes these are things that we really do not expect, but for as long as we live, some of these things are inevitable. And so if you find yourself going through any such difficult challenge, having to do with a loved one being hospitalized, not feeling too good, you yourself, or seeing a very dear one home, we say the Lord comfort you, and may He send His angels to protect you. He is with you. Just know that. Tough times, but He is with you. So be comforted. Lawyer Pencil is here with us again this morning. Lawyer Pencil, good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to Home Affairs one more time.
Thank you.
Let me remind us that Home Affairs is brought to us by the Korba Payment app. Korba, our life simplified. Onga, Mama's Helping Hand. Kel Kids Toothpaste for kids between 2 and 6 years. A product of Samara Company Limited. Kel Kids, Happy Smile. Amasha Partners Limited, your one-stop optical solution provider. Fortune Rise, always on point, just like Mom. And Seal Immigration, your Canadian immigration partner in Ghana. Better Molds, because like Mommy, like me, and we have a promotion coming up for you on the show today. I'll tell you all about it in a tiny little bit. And then we will try to see those of you who sent in the messages last week, if you wrote a rhyme or a poem that has, because like Mommy, like me, we will get them on the console and announce the winners before we leave here today, and also tell you what you have. You're getting packs of better molds to make your week exciting, so stand by for it. And then it's not ending now. We have a couple of weeks to be running the Better Mold promotion. So today I will tell you what you really have to do as the show progresses. And let me also remind us that the Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair is ongoing at the Accra International Conference Center. It started on Thursday. And so if you haven't made your way to the AICC Accra International Conference Center, please, we need you there ASAP. You have to start heading there this morning by 9 a.m. I mean, our exhibitors will be ready. They will be there. And so you will have to make your way there as well. But 12 noon, right after News File, we will be live on air telling you what is there, interviewing, the exhibitors who are there. And so if you're looking to either buying or building a home, everything you need, trust me, everything from acquiring a land. And if you want to buy, then you're spoiled for choice. You have people who are providing services like furniture, drilling, just think about anything you need, electricals, just anything you need if you need to, build a home. And then if you want to buy, like I said, you're spoiled for choice. Everybody is there. And so the Habitat Fair is the place to be. Today we're there, tomorrow we're there, and on Monday we're there as well. And there are very great discounts, ongoing there as well. So make sure you go by the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. My colleagues and I will be there as well to host you. And if you want us to take you around, why not? We will walk you around the place. So we hope to see you there. La Pencil, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Last week we started a very interesting conversation, the law and your marriage.
Sure.
And we had some big blocks we talked about.
You're right.
So but I liked the opening. I still remember everything you said. La Pencil was trying to dodge the law aspect of it and said that marriage is a risk, is based on love, and is based on trust. And we do understand that. If you don't see the person, fall in love with the person, build trust for the person, you definitely would not even think about settling down with them. But we do know that things happen in this life, right? You get married to the same person you're so much in love with and look forward to so much with, and then somewhere along the line you're disappointed so badly, and then it becomes a tussle. And so we had to look at all the big blocks, the considerations, and sometimes the conversations we shy away from. You're planning to get married. Have you had conversations around property acquisition, property ownership? And last week we learned some very interesting things. For instance, that even if you have a property before you get married, there are lots of considerations that go into it in the case of divorce, right?
Sure.
And then I remember we had a question from this young man that says that he has been with somebody for, is it 2 or 3 years? They have a kid together, but they are not married.
Yeah.
So in case he doesn't want to be with the person again, is it possible, could they take his house, from him? And what? No, he was asking if the property will be shared. And then you say he should be careful. If the lady gets a smart lawyer, the whole house could be taken from him.
It could.
It could be taken from you.
Right.
So it's not as simple as that. Sometimes it's important. And this conversation was born out of the fears of a friend of mine who, I told her Painter last week. I mean, she's quite well-to-do. She has lived. She has worked. And she's still, 40 and still not married. And her concern is that each time she falls in love and then the conversation comes up about, look, let's have a conversation about properties, the law and all of those things, then the gentlemen get upset and they're like, you're not into this for love, you're too materialistic, why are you thinking about these things? And then the relationship ends abruptly. But we're saying that in as much as you fall in love and everything, it's important at least to know some of these things. And so your questions again are welcome on 05511119997, 05511119997. Your questions are welcome. Everything you want to know when it comes to your marriage and the law, please send your questions through. And then on 0302216541, when we activate the phone lines, you can give us a call. You can also you can also join us on Facebook and on Instagram and also on Twitter, like I told you, at Joy997. If you want to send me an inbox, Edem Night T, EDEMKNIGHT -TAY. That's how I spell my name. So, La Painter, I remember I said today we're going to talk about that aspect of marriage.
Sure.
So we are married, and you have a partner who, so we're going into the sexual behaviors now,
Yes.
And who wants to probably have, sex with you in ways that you are not excited about. So for instance, a partner wants to continuously have anal sex with you. And sometimes I hear that the women also demand it when the men are not comfortable with it. And because of that, there is always tension in some homes. The joy of marriage is no longer there because one person is insisting on, some practice that the other person is not comfortable with. And in some cases, as we have learned here on Home Affairs, the relationship breaks down. It leads to separation in the home. We're in the same home, but someone is sleeping in the guest room, the other person is sleeping in the bedroom, because we just can't have an understanding when it comes to sex. What do you do about that?
Thank you. It's not just about sex, but In marriage or under our Matrimonial Causes Act, the law has specified the specific grounds upon which the parties can part company.
Great.
That is to say, dissolve the marriage. And the sole ground for presenting a petition for divorce under our laws is that the parties, what do you call it? The marriage has broken down beyond reconciliation. That's the sole ground. But for purposes of proving that the marriage has broken down beyond reconciliation, there are 5 requirements that the law is looking for. And what it means is that if you want a divorce, then you must be able to fix whatever your grievance, whatever your problem, whatever your issue is, under any one of those 5 grounds that the law has specified for purposes of proving that the marriage has broken down beyond reconciliation. Of course, the first one is adultery. And in adultery, simply what it means is that one of the parties is found in an illicit relationship with somebody else who is not a party to the marriage.
How can that person be a party to the marriage?
Exogamous matrimonial affiliation with some other person. And of course, voluntary. So that if, for instance, with due respect, if, for instance, a woman has been raped by another man, the husband cannot rely on that as adultery and use it as a basis for seeking a divorce. Secondly, is what we call unreasonable behavior. That's a catchphrase that a lot of things can be smuggled in. What it means is that the respondent, okay, let me put it this way. In every divorce or every petition for divorce, the 2 parties, the one who presents the petition is called a petitioner, and the other party is the respondent. So when the ground for reasonable behavior, all that the petitioner is saying is that the respondent has behaved in a way that is so unreasonable that she or he cannot reasonably be expected to live with that person. So under unreasonable behavior, for instance, if we're talking about somebody who want to have anal sex, like you said, it is strange. The whole thought of having anal sex is strange, though we know it has crept into our society in recent times. But I can reasonably believe that if a petition for divorce is presented to court on the basis that the only form of sex possibly that a husband requires is through the anus, then I can see a court making a finding of fact that that kind of behavior is unreasonable, and obviously, as far as the wife does not enjoy it, can form a basis or a ground for divorce. But now, all these things are qualified. For instance, in adultery, the requirement is that the respondent has committed adultery and that the petition finds it intolerable to live with the respondent. In unreasonable behavior, the rule or the practice or the requirement is that the respondent has behaved in such a way that the petitioner finds it unreasonable to live, or does not find reasonable to live with him. So that is unreasonable behavior. Then we also have got what we call desertion. Desertion is any situation in which the respondent has removed himself from cohabitation with the petitioner with the intention to bring the marriage to an end. So there must be an animus so that it's not any form of desertion. And desertion can also be constructive in the sense that, particularly in societies like ours, where some men are given to ungovernable temper, a woman may be physically removed from the home, and in the circumstances will be said to have deserted the house. But if it can be proven, it can be demonstrated, it can be shown that the real reason for leaving the house is because of the atmosphere that is generated by the unreasonable behavior of the other spouse, then the law would deem that desertion what we call constructive. so that physically one person is not in the home, but the person has got no intention of bringing the marriage to an end. And therefore, her presence, whether of him or of her, is as a result of the other person's conduct. But there are also many situations where it is voluntary. The person walks out of the house, has no intention of coming back, and he wants to. Then we've got what we call separation. Separation is any situation where the parties have not lived together as husband and man for a minimum period of 2 years, and that the one who is presenting the petition has the consent of the other person to file the petition.
You must have the consent.
You must have the consent.
So if after 2, 3, 4, 5 years you don't have the consent of the other party, then what happens?
The law is that consent must not be unreasonably withheld. So that if you present, if the person, because there are times that people are living together.
The law is good, isn't it?
Right. There are times that people are living together, they think they are fed up with each other, they think whatever, and for 2 years they have not lived together, and the other party, okay, go ahead. I'm tired of this marriage, and I give you my consent. Let's go. So even though you file it, you can demonstrate. But the person who's giving the consent must know and appreciate that the intended purpose of giving the consent is that the parties are no longer going to live as husband and wife. So that if you obtain the consent by fraud, the court will not grant you the divorce. And so forth. Then of course,
this is interesting.
Of course, the final one is where the parties have not lived together as husband and wife for a continuous period of 5 years. And that one, when they have not lived together as husband and wife for a continuous period of 5 years, that is the end of it. You don't need any consent, any whatever. And once you can demonstrate to the court that the parties have not lived together as husband and wife for 5 years, the court then will rely on that one as the basis for granting divorce. But listen quite carefully. In addition to all of these things, the parties or the petition must demonstrate that the parties, notwithstanding, have made diligent efforts to resolve their differences and have failed.
Let me ask a question.
Yes.
These efforts you talk about,
Sure.
must they be set within some time period?
Not necessarily. But even at the point that the parties are in court, the judge still, in fact, the judge is obliged. You see, very interesting thing about marriage is that it is founded, the historical basis for our law is rooted in the Bible. And therefore, all the incidents of the sacredness of marriage as stated in the Bible finds expression in our laws. And that's why even if the parties have agreed even to have a divorce. In the first place, you must find one of these 5 grounds and demonstrate to the court. But the court still wants to know whether there have been attempts at reconciliation. And the law makes it obligatory for a judge, even during the course of the dissolution, if got the least impression that the parties can be reconciled, to adjourn the proceedings to enable the parties to go and resolve their differences, including appointing a mediator or conciliator for the parties to go and resolve it. So at the end of it, the judge must convince himself that you've brought application or the petition under any one of these 5 grounds, and at the end of it, demonstrate that before and during, you have tried every effort to be reconciled, and the reconciliation has failed. So that's the first the judge will ask you. You come and say all of these things. Your husband want to have anal sex with me, and please, I cannot. I've tried. They'll ask you, have you tried to, has there been attempts at resolving this? Have you involved typically your pastor, your parents, customary, whatever? We've got various ways of bringing parties together. So a judge wants to know that these things have been done before the law permits the judge to grant the divorce. If after going through all that, the judge does not have the facts before him, the evidence before him, that you fit all of these things, the judge is obliged by law to refuse the petition.
Lapento, this one is very difficult.
It's not.
Okay, let me tell you how difficult it is. You know that in our society,
Sure.
It's these days that we're gradually opening up and talking openly about sex.
Sure.
It actually is still very sacred, and not too many people would want to involve other people when it comes to issues of the bedroom.
Sure.
So not too many women will run to their parents or to their pastors or, to their ebusia pennies
Sure.
and say that my husband's been trying for, so long to have anal sex with me. Or a man going to tell all of these people that my wife only wants anal sex.
Yes.
Some of these things are so difficult to talk about.
Sure.
And if it's gone on for so long that you can't, and you go to court and say that because of this, I do not want to live with this person again, and the judge wants evidence, where do you find
If
evidence?
you can
from
tell
such
a
matter?
judge, what you can tell a judge?
Because
What
at
you-
that point in time, in the local palace, the person will say that ameme, like I have had it.
No, I can appreciate that.
So how do you go about it? Now you have to go back home and go and start involving everybody before you come back to the law
not
court?
necessarily. Indeed, and in fact, the judge cannot even compare parties to attempt it. But you see, because the law makes the provision, if you found me as a judge, I wouldn't mind. I'll ask you, please, involve somebody.
Ace.
Get somebody to talk to. Because, see, what's the otubronya okechi? You know what I'm saying? I mean, when it gets to a certain point, the conventional rules do not apply. You must go beyond normal thing. Who want to talk about sex with anybody? Even as adults, it's very difficult even chatting with
Exactly.
friends about sex. You
Yeah.
can't tell anybody. But when it gets to certain points, like you said, I mean, at the point now, you know what I'm saying? That's the point, the exact point where others may be involved. And I think that even for lawyers, I'm being honest with you, even for lawyers, our first duty when we are trained is that when someone comes to you with an issue of divorce, not like the law of contract where someone has gone to buy tomatoes and he has not paid for it, and you no, we don't do it. You must start. There's a whole culture about divorce. And you don't just start by issuing. There's no one case of divorce. Some people ask me whether I handle divorce. I say, yes, I do. People think you are a pastor. I say, all right, because you have not met with people and seen real problems.
Exactly.
There are lawyers who say, there's some good Christians who say, me, I don't do divorce. I say, thank God for you not doing divorce. But it means that you don't even get to know the problems that people are going through and what you can play as a rule. And I thank God that, speaking for myself, I have been able, through counseling, through talking to people, to reconsider their positions. Some of them to no matter what you say. But I have found as a rule, I'm telling you, that's based on my own experience. 90% of the time, when people are so adamant, they've got their feet on something. There is a third person who's involved, but they will never disclose to you. They will never tell you the truth. Women have come to me and talking about all the kind of thing. When I told my they were pregnant by another man.
Oh, geez.
And the only reason why they wanted a divorce so quickly is to be able to cover, that,
wow.
that kind of thing, and so forth and so on. Both men and both women. But I'll be honest with you, where there's no third person involved, there's nothing that cannot be resolved. There's no problem. There's no issue. I mean, that's my personal experience.
This is very insightful.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And I mean, but when there's a third person involved, no way. Absolutely.
Difficult.
Everything that you say, they've got already made. Because, see, I make the points that I make because, see, in fairness, I'm telling you, I've been in marriage for 30 plus years.
Wow.
I have a fair appreciation of my share of fights and share of whatever. But there's nothing that the parties cannot resolve if they really want to resolve. However beautiful your wife is, with time you notice that there are more. Sayo Kweyama wrote the book, The Beautiful Ones Are Yet to Be Born, and so forth and so on. So as for problems and multiplying problems, unreasonableness, call it all of that. We've been involved in a situation where the parties even divorced, then they remarried. Because the things that you start telling them, that there's no better man outside there. There's no better woman outside there. And once
they're not listening.
Once people have come together, they must learn. See, the Bible talks about working your salvation out with fear and trembling. The same is about marriage. If people begin to learn how to sit and resolve their own issues, however difficult it is. God planted something we call conscience in every human being. And what it means is that even the things that you say, people start by disagreeing with you. In the course of time, they reflect over things and they begin to realize that it's for their own good that they listen to some of these things. And these are practical issues. I'm not talking about things that you just read in the books, because in our lives, these things play out day in, day out. So the issue of reconciliation is a very strong one. Some people are so adamant and so forth and so on. Well, after the judge has done all that he's supposed to do, like I found in my rare experience, when they say they want it, they will eventually get
They'll
it.
get it.
I tell people that listen to me, if you want a divorce, you get it. But like the Bible put it, this thing will be on your own head. Because sooner than later, you begin to realize that the real world outside there is not as rosy as we read in the Mills and Boone series. You know what I'm saying? It's a very difficult experience out there. And everybody has to live with his own reservations. You know, some reservations, though I appreciate that certain things I cannot possibly compare people to live with, like this strange kind of behaviors and so forth and so on. So God be our helper.
Again, let me ask, for a situation like unreasonable sexual behavior.
Sure.
For instance, the instance we're given.
Yeah.
How long must it have tried to go on, especially so when you have never given consent to it? How long must it happen before you are able to raise the alarm?
You know, when it comes to unreasonable behavior, it is very subjective. Though in the application of the law, the judge wants to be satisfied.
Okay.
So a single incident could trigger.
Could trigger
A
it.
single incident. And for instance, the advice that the parties must have attempted this, and they may ask you, maybe if I have it the first time and went to court, the judge will be very surprised. But please let me even tell you this one before we move further. We have assumed that anytime you want a divorce, you can get it. As a matter of law, you can present a petition for divorce within 2 years of the marriage. Within 2 years, when you marry, the first 2 years, you can't present a petition for divorce.
Even when it has
Whatever
to do
it is, if your husband puts a knife the first night, the law says that you can't present a petition. And if you want a divorce within 2 years, you require the leave of the judge. You must present an application for leave. You must set out such special grounds that, requires that a judge must grant you leave to present a petition. And it must such severe, because there's something we call the normal tear and wear of every life.
In our very regular thinking,
Yes.
what you're saying is that whatever the situation is, you should endure it for at least 2 years before.
Minimum.
As I said, at least 2 years.
Minimum.
Eh.
But I've told you that you can present an application to the judge for leave. You must present the kind of circumstances that are so strange, that are so severe, that life and death kind of thing, that the judge must appreciate. Then the judge would then ask, okay, go and bring it. So that's to say that you now being given an opportunity to present the petition, the basis of which even your complaints will be looked into.
I see.
Yeah, but if a judge refuses to, that's it. You go and live with the marriage for 2 years.
But at least there is a way out.
Sure.
There is a caveat. There is
Sure.
a way out. All right. We have been learning a lot on this. And, there are times that we talk about we're having home affairs, we're discussing issues that people have in their homes.
Yes.
And based on that, you would have young people sending messages to say that they don't even want to get married. I hope that this is not one of the conversations. It's not seeking to scare you. It is only seeking for us to have a lot more knowledge into the things and the steps that we take. Marriage is a covenant between you and your partner and God. God is the third person in it, the knot, the pivot around which your marriage is built. But then again, there is a reason you go to court and sign the marriage off.
Oh, Lord.
Otherwise, when you go to church and the pastor blesses you and the two of you love each other, it should end there, right?
Sure.
But for as long as you will have to sign that certificate and even bring witnesses into it. It means that this aspect of it, whether you like it or not, does exist, and it is important that we all have knowledge about it before we sign our hearts away. Now, just like moms know what to do in every situation, you can trust any of the Fortune rice brands for all your rice meals for every occasion. It needs just a little water. Emphasis on a little water. The grains don't stick together, remember that, and the aroma, delicious. So if you're thinking of cooking jollof rice, fried rice, rice balls, and any other rice dish you can think about, just choose Fortune. We have the Fortune Classic, it's green, the Delight is orange, and the Fortune Delicious is in the red pack. Get yours now and you won't regret it. We have it. Fortune rice, always on point, just like a mom. And everyone can use Koba. It's got a payment channel for the big bosses, the market woman, the mechanic, the cocoa seller, and the small shop owner. So sit back, relax, and simply pay for your old Students Association dues and contributions. Transfer funds across all bank accounts or mobile money wallets. Top up your airtime, your data, your TV insurance, your TV subscriptions. We're talking about all your insurance payments as well, your utility bills, also pay your school fees, and even pay for that wachi using the Koba Payments app. Do all these on Koba and get a free life insurance cover with Prudential Life while you transact your business on Koba. Koba, Korba, and enjoy life's little pleasures. Download the Koba app on Play Store, App Store, or via the WhatsApp channel 0242 426186, 0242 426186, or simply dial *365# and follow the prompts. Koba, our lives simplified, and your eyes deserve the best care and quality eyewear. And Amasha partners have it all. At Amasha, in addition to general treatment, you can test your sight, purchase designer frames, lenses, sunglasses, contact lenses, and you can even consult an ophthalmologist. Locate Amasha at these various places: La Obse Trade Fair, Spencer's, they are adjacent the ICGC before Community 18 Junction, Tema, that's Community 1, at the Meridian Plaza, Kolebu, opposite ECGC, McCarthy Hill, opposite Benjay Lodge, North Kaneshi, Swan Lake, opposite Green Hand Junction, Achimota First Floor, Denswa Plaza, Takrady Exim Road, Ho opposite Housing Junction, Kumasi at the Airport Roundabout, and Koforidia Central Hospital Road. For all your eye care challenges, contact Amasha Partners Limited on 0302 939850, also on 0303 962226, and also on 035 331662. You can also follow the team at Amasha Eye Care on Facebook and Instagram. And did you know that geisha, yes, our own geisha soap, has been in Ghana for over 60 years and has now launched 2 new exciting variants? Yes, geisha is the soap my grandmother used, my mother used it, passed it down to me, and I have decided to pass it down to my children as well. Now, the Geisha Heritage Black Soap and Moringa Soap not only celebrate our proud Ghanaian heritage through African-inspired packaging, but the soaps also include natural ingredients such as activated charcoal, moringa oil, and cocoa butter that will give you glowing, moisturized, soft, and smooth skin. Geisha Black and Moringa soaps are also very affordable. Affordable at 4 cedis 50 pesos for each big pack. Say goodbye to dry skin and an even complexion with Geisha. Heritage Black and Moringa soaps. Get yours now in any market, supermarkets, pharmacy, or neighborhood shop. Geisha by Africa for Africa. And I told you about better molds. Let's start this off by clapping for all mothers. Not all heroes wear capes, so because to be a mother, you have to keep getting better at everything. So that's the clap for mothers. Dressing up, cooking, working, you name it. Because the children are watching and learning, that is why you must always make better choices. When packing lunch for the family or for the kids, make sure that better molds is in there. Need a break from work? Refresh yourself with better mold. And when you need a drink to top up your delicious lunch, remember always to have better molds on the side. Better mold, because like mommy, like me. This is Home Affairs. We have been talking about your marriage and the law, and my guest is lawyer Kweku Pencil. He is a lawyer, he is a family life counselor, and he is a pastor, a reverend minister at that, wearing 3 different hats. Oh my God. And so we're having this conversation from all the 3 different angles. Stay tuned in. When we come back, we will activate our phone lines on 0302 216541, and then your messages can keep coming through on 055 997. My name is Edem Nighty. We will be right back.
Just like moms know what to do in every situation, you can trust Fortune Rice for all your rice meals. It needs just a little water. The grains don't stick, and the aroma and taste are delicious.
Fortune Rice is all we need, just like mom.
Fortune Rice, always on point, just like mom. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Adriani dede yeko shadia odianwae onga chicken tablets Adriani dede yeko shadia odianwae onga chicken tablets why me do why me do why me do onga chicken tablets get this to me onga chicken tablets cook on who give me Adriani dieseweni onga dielele onga chicken tablet.
Introducing the new Onga Chicken Tablet.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
My Daisy copies everything I do.
I do everything my mommy does.
She copies the way I dress up.
I dress like her.
She copies the way I work.
I do my homework like her.
She even copies the way I talk. Hey, Daisy. That's why I know that to give her a better life, I must do better myself. So when I'm drinking my better malt, she always makes sure she has hers in hand as well. Mummy's happy and Daisy's happy too. Better malt. Be better every day. This advert is FDA approved.
Ophebia, did you brush your teeth before eating?
No, Mommy. Anytime I use Daddy's toothpaste, I get bruises in my mouth and sometimes I feel like vomiting.
That's not an excuse. As a child, you need to brush your teeth before you take your breakfast to avoid tartar and cavity, okay? And you, why are you laughing at your sister? Have you brushed your teeth?
Yes, Mom. I used the Kel Kids toothpaste you brought yesterday to brush my teeth.
Well done, darling. Kel Kids toothpaste is made for kids like you from 2 years to 6 years.
It was so sweet like strawberry. I even wanted to eat it, Mom.
No, you can't eat it. It's toothpaste, not toffee, okay? It's always advisable to give your kids Kel Kids toothpaste to brush their teeth. Kel Kids toothpaste strengthens teeth and prevents decay and cavities. As a mother, I always make sure my kids use Kel Kids toothpaste. Kel Kids toothpaste with strawberry flavor makes brushing exciting for our kids.
Kel, happy smart.
This advert is FDA approved.
Tasty and nourishing. Cowbell is our milk. Fortified with vitamins. source of vitamin B9. So me I say, brown milk, oh. Now the source of vitamin B9, which helps brain development.
Cowbell milk, fortified with vitamins, is now a source of vitamin B9, helping brain development and giving your loved ones the help they need.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Are you looking to source for fresh quality fruits and vegetables? Connect with the right agribusiness actors and explore opportunities in the horticulture sector. Then, be at this year's Fruits and Vegetable Fair happening at the Afua Sutherland's Children's Park from Thursday, October 28th to Saturday, October 30th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily. Theme: Enhancing Horticulture Trade Patterns in the COVID-19 era. There will be seminars on food safety and horticulture-related challenges. Catch us live on Facebook and Instagram. The fair is in partnership with the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Soko Center, Wapcom Media, and Agric Today. Attendance is free. Come one, come all.
My Daisy copies everything I do.
I do everything my mommy does.
She copies the way I dress up.
I dress like her.
She copies the way I work.
I do my homework like her.
She even copies the way I talk. Hey, Daisy. That's why I know that to give her a better life, I must do better myself. So when I'm drinking my better malt, she always makes sure she has hers in hand as well. Mummy's happy and Daisy's happy too. Better malt. Be better every day. This advert is FDA approved.
Sunny is back in Ghana with a whole new world of entertainment tailored for you. We have some amazing products with unbeatable prices for 4K Android OLED, 4K Android UHD, and Smart FHD television that comes with cognitive intelligent TV and ultra clear sound also. Enjoy the amazing one-box music and chic sound from Chic Series. Experience these amazing prices at the following shops: Electromat, CompuGhana, Melcom, Shri, Krishna, Palace, Indus, Prime 8, City Shop. TNCs apply.
Thank you very much for staying with us. This is Home Affairs. We're live on Joy99.7 FM, also live on Joy Prime Television. You can catch us on all our social media handles at Joy997. We have been talking about your marriage and the law. Someone sent a message saying that they're thinking of not marrying again. Like I said, that's not the essence of this conversation. It's just so that you're informed. So that when you're going into marriage, that's the ultimate reason for me. You should mean it. When you're going into marriage, when you're telling somebody that I love you, I want to marry you, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you, you should mean it. Because if you don't mean it, that's when you would end up misbehaving, or you would end up finding yourself in all of these. Painsil talked about the 5 grounds on which your marriage can be, revoked or dissolved, or divorce can be granted. So adultery is one. He talked about unreasonable behavior, and within that is the issue of unreasonable sexual behavior, really. And we gave an example about anal sex. Talked about desertion, okay, especially so if it is deliberate. If people, he explained that if someone deserts their home and it is found out that the desertion was very important, maybe to their lives because of what was happening in the home, then that could be, you can't take someone on and say that the person deserted their home because it was an action in the home that forced them out of the home. It wasn't deliberate or voluntary. Then he talked about separation. And it's the separation I talked about that, okay, Pencil, please let's go over that again.
Yes.
Separation, you will need the consent of the other party.
You're very right. For separation of no less than 2 years from the time of the presentation of of the petition for divorce. Separation with intention to bring the marriage relation to an end. So it's not any form of separation. So we can have two households on the one, this thing, where the person, it happens. I mean, it happens. I remember being on this program one time, a man said was in a boys' quarters, wherever. Yes, that it may not necessarily be desertion. You still eat the woman's food and so forth. She washes your clothes and whatever. That's not desertion. You see,
that's not separation.
That's not separation. So, but the separation must be with intent to bring the marriage relationship to an end. And that's why you require the consent of the other party. And the consent must not be unreasonably withheld. And the consent must also not be obtained by fraud. The person who gives the consent must appreciate that both of you intend to bring the marriage relationship to an end. Yes.
And you two must demonstrate it.
Naturally.
Great. And then the last one is not being together for, a period of 5 years. Yes, that one I had a question.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's a very regular situation we find ourselves in here in Ghana. You get married, one party travels to go abroad in search of greener pastures, and then you go. And some people stay out there for as long as 10 years, and the other person is here. Now, one day, if it is the man or the woman who is here, let's say that it is the woman who is here, because that's usually the case. And she says that, you know what, I have waited for 7 years. I don't know when you're going to come back home. And so I want this marriage, the marriage to end. Would that be a basis for divorce to be considered?
That's not separation. Listen very carefully.
No, I'm talking about not being together
No, I understand. That's why I want you to appreciate the meaning of separation from this one. This one, not living as husband and wife means that you cut off everything completely. But the man be remitting your money. You are living as husband and wife.
So that one is not...
You are taking the money and you say that you have... So that's not, it's not a physical act of separation. Not living as husband and wife. Anything that shows
so it means that you should have been living like strangers.
That is so.
No communication,
that is so.
No remittance,
that is so.
Nothing.
That is so.
But if you have been living...
you can't chop the man's money and say you're not living with him as husband and wife.
Within the period that I am chopping your money, I stayed true to you as a wife.
No, that's
but
a
after now,
issue.
there are lots of issues. Like you need affection, you need to have a sexual relationship, you need all that. And after 7 years, I realized that, look, I cannot just be taking remittance from you at the end of every month and say that I am married. So based on that, I think I just want to end this thing and find myself some kokoasi crashes so that we live here together, and I know I am enjoying the warmth of a man, living together and enjoying the full essence of marriage.
That's understandable, but then the extra evidence must be led to show that you've not just been living apart for those 5 years, but with the view, that is to say that the other party has refused, failed, or neglected to make any attempts for you to live together, because those issues are quite okay. And therefore, in those kind of situations, you may rather find it on the unreasonable behavior. The cause that you choose to be investigated by the court, and the reason for it must be found within that particular context. So if I were your lawyer, I would rather seek relief or petition for divorce under unreasonable behavior. Because unreasonable behavior is your refusal to live with me as husband and wife.
No, the instance I gave was not refusal. Okay, it's because you know about you travel, you don't have your documentation, and so it's quite difficult to come back, because then you have overstayed and you're staying as an illegal immigrant and all that. So there are, between husband and wife or between families, there are very genuine reasons why the man has been out there for so long.
Sure.
But this woman wakes up one day and goes like, I cannot continue to do this.
Yeah. No, but that's the point I'm also making. What I'm saying is that in those circumstances, it's still a choice. Because the man is chasing purpose. Indeed, and in fact, the popular expression is that some of them even have got a woman they are living with, and the wife in Ghana here says that the husband is using that woman to get papers. Come on. You know what I'm saying? The kind of things that sometimes disturbs me personally. A good Christian woman looking me in the face and telling me that the husband is using another woman to acquire papers and stuff like
so
that.
that she will
But you know,
join
come
him.
on. I mean, come on. The whole thing is even based on deceit. But let me put it this way, like in specific answer to your question. At the back of it must be a constant demand on the part of the woman to live with a man or to continue the conjugal relationship of husband and wife, and the failure or refusal or neglect of the man on his part to concentrate on his so-called papers. So at that point, it's not just the separation or not living as husband and wife for 5 years, but the unreasonable conduct of the man in placing his own egos and whatever over the marriage.
Great.
Yes.
So in effect, you can't just wake up one day and say that, okay, this has been going on for so long, so I don't want it again, and it must end today and now.
No, because the man will bring in all the remittances that he has been making and whatever, and then you have not even, you have virtually consented to that kind of relationship. You are.
Great.
You are.
Great. Great.
Right.
Great.
Right.
So from the day you do not want to consent to it again, a different form of conversation will have to begin until such a time when you are asking.
The evidence must be there. You know, what really happens when somebody goes to court is that he who alleges must prove every time, even the other party decides that it's not going to come to court. You are the one who has petitioned the court, and you must present the evidence.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, the judge must make what we call a finding of fact. When you made a finding of fact based on the evidence that you presented, then the judge will then apply the law, because the law has specified the specific grounds upon which the judge could exercise his authority to grant what you're asking for. And the power to grant what you're asking for also includes the power to refuse what you're asking for. So therefore, when you presented those facts before the judge then looks at whether this one fits under the particular relief that you are seeking. Though a judge may exercise also the power, if he finds that it doesn't fit ground C and it fits ground B, to give you the divorce founded on ground B. But it's very funny, especially when both parties the petition, you petition, also cross petition. It happens all the time. The judge can't grant both petitions because the respondents what we call a cross petition. And because divorce is essentially fault finding. In other words, because the finding of fault has consequences, who was responsible for bringing the marriage to an end will inform the judge as to the consequential orders to be made. And therefore, when you have what you call petition for divorce, I have cross petition. The judge can say that I found your petition as unjustified, or you have not made the case, but I find the cross petition as having made this case. So I grant the divorce on the basis of the respondent's cross petition, and then the judge will then make the consequential order. So, like I'm saying, you may not necessarily, because for instance, let me put it this way. This is the case that we have a husband who lives outside there, usually, and the woman goes to court and says that they will not believe her husband and wife. The man also cross petition says that you are involved in adultery, and therefore a cross petition for adultery on the ground of adultery. And he manages to show the court all the love letters that you people have been maintaining over the entire period, in which you have not even breathed once, as having a problem with living apart. But then he's got the evidence that in spite of everything that you receive from him, you've got this relationship ongoing and you can prove it. At the end of it, the judge will say that, yes, I've heard both of you. I've seen the petitioner. You've not been able to make your case on the basis that you have not, lived as husband and wife. Because the evidence that shows me is that your love letter as recent as last year demonstrates that you were communicating with him in a loving relationship. But then, on the basis of his evidence, which I find to be true, I'm going to dissolve this marriage not on your petition, but on his cross petition. And then award of damages, legal cost, all of that will follow the consequence. So that's the way these things go in the court.
I see.
Sure.
You know, I have been smiling because what we're realizing is that for the many people who get up and say that, you know what, I am done. This thing I'm not doing again. They pack their bags and they have left home, and in their minds, the marriage is over. You're just joking. You're just kidding. That's not how you walk out of
Let me
marriage.
comment on that one for those who walk away, especially the men. Listen to me. Especially with ordinance marriages, and I've dealt with these cases so many times. Until the marriage has been dissolved, the relationship exists in law. What it means, for instance, is that, please let me use the man. If the man walks away from the marriage, goes to have children, other women, living with the woman at the time of his death, and he dies, we go into the records, the marriage has not been dissolved, the wife is still the wife of the marriage for purpose of the distribution of the man's property. It does not matter if the man left it 20 years ago, went away and did all the kind of things. For as long as the marriage has not been dissolved, the wife of the marriage, if it's an ordinance marriage, then it is the ordinance wife who is the missus, and she would, for purposes of the law, especially if the man left no will, she will be the spouse for purposes of determining the man's properties. So if the man's got 5 children by her, 2 children outside, 3, whatever, they are the ones together with her who would take the man's property. That is to say, that's the way it is. So you just don't walk away from marriages unless you untie it properly. Only in a court of law. Nowhere else.
So there are situations also, right, where women walk away from marriage.
Sure.
And they walk away with the intention of never going back.
Very right.
And sometimes their husbands want them back, some way, somehow.
Sure.
But because of the experiences they have been through, they don't want this again. And sometimes it takes so long, 2, 3, 4 years, and they see themselves as single. You get into other relationships, but the marriage is still hanging around somehow in law, like you're saying, because one party is unwilling to let go fully. Sometimes unwilling to let go fully because they feel like, I need to tie you down. You whatever it is that you do, you're still mine.
You are.
What's the remedy when it comes to that sort of situation?
Very interesting scenarios. Your best remedy, the only remedy, is if you don't want a relationship, go to court for the court to dissolve the marriage. If you do not, and I see you with another man, especially for those who go to another ceremony, even customary, it's bigamy. I could report you to the police, you could be arrested, you could be prosecuted for bigamy. That is to say, the law of marrying a second person when the first marriage has not been dissolved. That is a criminal offense.
So even if it takes 10 years, you're not planning to get married to another person. Even if it takes 10 years and the marriage has not been properly dissolved in the court of law, you can't call yourself a single woman.
You cannot. You cannot. And let me tell you something very interesting. Very interesting. Even when marriage, assuming if the marriage has been dissolved, let's something funny, okay? You get divorced from Mr. Painter and you keep on using Mrs. Painter. I can go to court. There's a this we call jactitation of marriage.
Okay.
I could get an order of court to compel you to remove
stop using the name.
Start using my name. You know what I'm saying? So there are consequences that arise in all the things that we do and are available, and we think that people work out marriage and they think that's the end of it. People dissolve marriage and they think that's the end of it. Everything has got its own consequences. And I've said that if my wife dare divorce me, she's not going to have the privilege of using Mrs. Pencil. You know how it goes. And that's the way it goes. And so that's how it is. Like me, like my dog. Okay? That's the way it goes.
This is very, very interesting. Okay. It's very interesting. So we have the Better Malt entries from last week. I'll quickly go through them. And then my judges, Laura Pencil, you also have an ear for this. Daniela, Mauli, they will all help with the judging. Okay, so the first one says, because like mama, like me. It's actually like mommy, like me. Kitty, Kitty, me comes from mama. Some I'm a chip of the old block, pepe. Mama is rich in ingredients because the hands that made her were perfect. We wake up with mama in mind. She keeps us active before we leave home. At noon, when you're done with lunch, you need some mama by my side. At night when you don't feel like eating anything heavy, mama is your best choice. My mama is better malt, and everybody loves her because like mama like me. Interesting. And this is from okay, Neti Heavy in Mamobi. We'll see how that goes. Number 2 is from Deborah, from Israel. Deborah says, because love like love like better mold, because like love like better mold, because like faith like better mold, because like hope like better mold, because like joy like better mold, because like strength like better mold. I don't even know what you're trying to do. 3 says that moms deserve better in life like better malt. Sweet mom, as always, we share in your joy like the effervescence in better malt drink. We love to drink better malt always. The dark, rich color of better malt is just like your skin that gives us true identity. We love better malt. This is from Francis in Teman. Francis, but you didn't add like you didn't add like mommy, like me. Better malt. So sweet. New package, new look. It's so sweet and attractive, especially better like Akiti. It gives you energy. Good for me and good for you. Like mommy, like me. This is from Barbara Brown from Tema. Interesting. And the last one we have for the morning. Okay, great. So we have these ones coming in and we need to reward too. And so by the time the show is done, you can also vote, the ones I have read. Which one do you think you like? Letter 1, letter 2, letter 3, letter 4. You can just send that to us via WhatsApp, and then my judges will also help us to choose two. And then we will tell you when you should come by Joy FM to pick your packs of better malt. Now, 0302216541. I'm sure we can pick a few phone calls. While I wait for your phone calls, just Lapental, I wanted us to talk about alimony and custody,
Sure.
but we have run out of time. So when we close, I'll corner you there to find out if we can have another week to finish
We
this.
can have it.
Oh, great. So I don't need to corner him.
You're welcome.
Because that's also a big deal.
We'll come next week.
Great. Just like moms know what to do in every situation, you can trust any of the Fortune rice brands for all your rice meals for every occasion. It needs just a little water. Remember, just a little water. The grains don't stick together, and the aroma and taste, delicious. If you're thinking of cooking jollof, fried rice, rice balls, and any other rice dish you can think about, just choose Fortune. It comes in the classic, which is green, Delight, which is orange, and then the Fortune Delicious, which is in the red pack. So get yours now, and you won't regret it. We have it, Fortune rice. Always on point, just like mom. And do you know about the new delicious? Oh yes, Ungalicious is the new delicious. Creates those amazing moments with your Unga seasoning. No matter your cooking experience, Unga is a delight to make great tasting meals in every home. Unga is convenient to use and it brings out the great taste and aroma in all your meals. Let's toast to the new Unga chicken tablet with superior taste and comforting aroma for all your chicken meals. Mama's helping hand. Unga, proudly Ghanaian. You can connect with the team at Unga on Facebook and Instagram and also on Twitter at Unga Ghana. Hello, Jonas. Good morning.
Good morning, Adam.
How are you, Jonas?
Yeah, Adam.
Great.
Yes, and so for me, I think that what I'd say is that whatever divorce that normally occurs, just as one counselor said some time ago, it would normally have occurred even before the marriage proper, because the red flags are always there. And need we say this? Nobody should act like the Holy Spirit. Nobody should say, I'm going to change the person. Nobody should say that if we get into the marriage proper, he's going to change. Don't give yourself a lot of misery. Marriage itself has so many problems already. Then you're going to compound it by creating all those problems for you, So if you can see glaringly and it is clear, don't say that, Charlie, the donama, udono. But who don't know nipa no enti no. If you see that these things are not going to help me in my marriage, don't just get in at all. Because
All right, Jonas.
definitely divorce is not the way out.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Jonas, for your thoughts over there.
You know, but you see, the real issue is the fact that, in spite of the red flags, in spite of all of these things, you still go into the marriage. That's the real issue. Because don't forget that sometimes you don't see red marks at all. Some are so deceptive. Some may not even be deceptive. Human beings change. So the real issue is after you've got in, however you got in, what must be the case when this red flag or these problems start coming up?
Great.
That's the real issue. And whether you must seek a divorce as the first option or not, and so forth and so on.
Great.
Yes.
Do you have someone on the line? Hi, Martin Luther King.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's actually
I
a
miss
while.
you. Haven't heard from you in a bit. How
Yeah,
are you?
you know, your program is one of the serious ones, so it's very difficult to get through most of the time, but we try.
Don't worry about it.
I've listened to
Dennis,
the lawyer.
could you give us a bit more volume? We can hardly hear Martin.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, my name is Martin Luther at the state. What I'm saying is that I've listened to the lawyer on all the grounds that he has mentioned. I can deduce that the ultimate liability of this marriage seeking lies on the man. That is the man property that becomes a victim. Now, I want to create this scenario. If the petitioner tends to be a man, but in this case, he has no money. He has no money. And he seeks divorce. Well, the woman who has money, property will also be shared to the man. That so the equity will be applied. I just want to know. And the issue of separation, in fact, it's a serious problem. That is woman whose husband left to US 20 years. I was a small boy. The woman, this is a wire. I mean, I cannot fathom what this situation entails. So those who give their children to people outside, they should be stopped.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will tackle some of these things next week. But one more time, did you know that geisha, yes, our own geisha soap here has been in Ghana for over 60 years and has launched 2 new exciting variants. So was handed over from my grandmother to me, and now I'm passing it on to my children. I have also decided to pass geisha on to my children. I just told you that. Now, the Geisha Heritage Black Soap and Moringa Oil Soap not only celebrate our Ghanaian heritage through African-inspired packaging, but the soaps also include natural ingredients such as activated charcoal, moringa oil, and cocoa butter that will give you glowing, moisturized, soft, and smooth skin. Geisha Black and Moringa soaps are also very affordable at only 4 cedi 50 pesos for each big pack. So say goodbye to dry skin and uneven complexion with Geisha. Geisha by Africa for Africa. Can you share the winners of our Better Malls promotion so that we name them and then tell them when they can come here before we go off? So Lawyer Painter is joining us again next week. We will look at the issues of alimony and custody. Eventually, when the divorce is granted, these are the things that happen. Okay, we are told that our winners are letter 1 and letter 4. And what are the names again? Letter 4 is from Barbara Brown in Tema. So Barbara, yay, congratulations to you. We will call you. And then letter 1 is from Nete Heavy. We will call you as well. So we tell you when to come for your packages. But thank you all very much for doing the listening. Next week, we will be here for another conversation on your marriage and the law. My name is Adam Nightsday. Thanks to the team for all the support. And Lawyer Pencil, God bless you. See you next week. Enjoy your weekend. Habitat Fair, see you there today, tomorrow, and Monday. Bye.
Did you know that cloth handkerchief gets dirty after wiping your sweat or blowing your nose with it? Keeping a dirty handkerchief in your pocket or bag is very unhygienic. Reusing it can make you sick from germs. That is why you must use Flora disposable handkerchief. It is thick, very absorbent and disposable, making it a hygienic option for everyone. A pack of 10 tissues fits in your pocket or bag. Also, look out for Flora toilet roll, Flora multi-purpose paper towels, Flora table napkins and Flora box tissues in a shop near you. For bulk purchases, call Delta Paper Mill on 0243 033 033.
My Daisy copies everything I do.